Hello guys, this is Dr. Maha again with the third tutorial on organic. I got some feedback from you that you prefer short, more frequent videos, so I'll try to accommodate that. I'll try to make the videos up to 15 minutes. Let me also know your opinion about that. Let's start with the third organic tutorial. Start answering some questions about hydrocarbons. Here are three hydrocarbons, the ethane, propane, and butane. The next number in the series is pentane. What is the formula of pentane? So the next in the series in pentane is pentane. That means pentane should have 5 carbon atoms, since it's the next in the series. How many hydrogen atoms would it have? This would bring me back to the general formula of the alkane homologous series, which is CnH2n plus 2. Since is n equal 5, so 2n plus 2 will be 12. So it should be C5H12, which is the pentane. Which homologous series contains ethane, propane, and butane? Since it has the suffix "ane", so all of these should be alkanes. Propane is used as a fuel. Complete the equation for the complete combustion of propane. Since it's a complete combustion will give me carbon dioxide, not carbon monoxide, and water. And combustion is always the reaction of or with oxygen. Where should I write the carbon dioxide? Where should I write the water? Just to be balanced, since I have 3 carbons here, so I'm going to write the carbon dioxide over there to have a 3 carbon in the product as well. Then I would write my water here in the second space. Let's double check. I have 8 hydrogens. 4 times 2 is 8, so the hydrogen number are correct. Then I have 4 oxygen over there, and then 3 times 2 is 6. 4 and 6 are 10. Let's check the number of oxygen over there. 5 times 2 is 10 as well. So the balance is correct. Now let's move to the other question. Octane is a hydrocarbon that contains 8 carbons and 18 hydrogens, so it's C8H18, and it's found in petrol. Explain why octane is a hydrocarbon. Okay, why octane is a hydrocarbon? Since it contains carbon and hydrogen only, that means it is a hydrocarbon. From the name, hydrocarbon should contain hydrogen and carbon. But all the organic compounds contain hydrogen and carbon, I agree. But hydrocarbons, they only contain hydrogen and carbon. That's the difference. So I would say that if you notice here, there are 2 marks for this question. Surprisingly, the second mark for writing the word only, because as I mentioned, all the organic compound would contain carbon and hydrogen. So I'm gonna write here it's a hydrocarbon because it contains hydrogen and carbon, and I won't forget the word only. Okay. Now those comparisons are very common in the IGCSE exams. You won't find a question without a comparison table. Sometimes it's more complicated than that one. Sometimes it's a 6 marks question, and it relies really on your information plus the data that you can see in the table. All right, so let's have this as an example for those comparisons. This table gives information about the pollutants produced by cars using diesel or petrol as fuel. So here when the car is using diesel, and the other one shows you the information when the car is using petrol. Those are the amount of pollutants released, oxides of nitrogen, particulate matter, and carbon dioxide, and they compare between them. Compare the pollutants from car using diesel with those from car using petrol. And it's a 3 marks question. Okay, let's look at it one by one. Regarding the oxides of nitrogen, obviously, those are using diesel are producing more oxides of nitrogen. They're producing more particulate matter. However, the carbon dioxide is released is less. Those are using petrol. They're producing less oxides of nitrogen, no particulate matter at all, but the carbon dioxide is 100. Okay, so there's kind of pros and cons for each one. They didn't ask you to explain anything, just to compare. All right, so just to be more compliant with what the questions want, we don't need to explain anything or even to suggest which one is better than the other. You just need to compare in terms of the data that you have. So what I'm gonna say, I would say diesel produces more oxides of nitrogen. Okay. It produces more particulate matter. You don't need to write the number. Particulate matter. And less carbon dioxide than the petrol. That's it. So for each comment you get 1 mark. For the comments on the oxide of nitrogen you get 1 mark, you get the second mark here, and the third mark for the carbon dioxide. And as I'm using this worksheet from Physics and Math Tutor, I need to credit them. They're very useful. They're organized in chapters. They're very they're having the same exam style of the IGCSE, so I have to credit them. All right. Pollutants cause environmental impacts. Draw 1 line from each pollutant to the environmental impact caused by the pollutant. Okay. So, oxides of nitrogen, guys, we know that they are the main cause of the acid rain. So, I would join it to the acid rain. The particulates, they are the main reason for global dimming, particulate matter. Other than that, they also affect the respiratory system, but since that's not one of the options, so I'm gonna choose the global dimming. Okay, now let's move to, there is an experiment over there. Experiments and how to deal with them is very, very important for this IGCSE. I prefer to give this question. I'm gonna explain it in a separate video because there are a lot into the experiments in terms of safety, in terms of assigning independent variables and dependent variables, in terms of suggesting the conclusion, in terms of safety measures. So there's a lot into experimental questions, so I really feel more like I want to do them in the next class, okay, individual video just for the experiment. For now I'm gonna skip this for now and continue question 3, and as mentioned, next video will be about this experiment. I'll go back to it in the next video. To make crude oil more useful, it's separated into fractions. Use the correct word from the box to complete each sentence. Okay, first of all, what are crude oil? Crude oil, or what is crude oil? Actually, it is a group of compounds, group of substances that are mixed together. So with that being said, I'm gonna choose the word mixture to describe the crude oil. It's a mixture of different substances, of different organic compounds that has been formed over millions of years due to high temperature and pressure, and that we are extracting them now and then do fractional distillation to separate each oil fraction. Keep in mind, when I'm talking about crude oil, it's it's limited. That means you need to wait like millions of years again to have those crude oil formed again. So that means they are non-renewable source of energy. We need to keep that in mind when we're talking about crude oil. There are non-renewable source, unlike other sources, unlike other renewable sources, which I'm gonna talk about them later. Okay, the substance in crude oil have different boiling point, and since they have different boiling point, this is the way how they are separated. So they're separated according to the boiling point, and the process is called fractional distillation. Very quickly, guys, I'm gonna remind you with the fractional distillation. In the fractional distillation, all the crude oil is entering to a heater, where this heater vaporizes all the crude oil. Then they enter to a column, a long column. This column work on separating those oil or those fractions of oil according to their boiling point. Those who has a higher boiling point will be separated first, and those who have lower boiling point will be separated up into the fractionating column. That's very quickly. Okay, now for this question, petrol is one of the fractions produced from crude oil. Car engines use a mixture of petrol and air. The diagram shows some of the gases produced. What type of reactions happen to the petrol in the car engine? Obviously, the reaction is burning with oxygen, which is the combustion. It's not decomposition, and it's not neutralization. Okay. Petrol contains octane. It's one of the hydrocarbons, as we mentioned before. Complete the word equation of the reaction of octane with oxygen. That's the combustion reaction. So I would say octane with oxygen. In any combustion, it would give me, as we mentioned before, water and carbon dioxide, providing it's a complete combustion. If it's incomplete, some carbon monoxide will come up as well. All right, now let's move to the other question. Car use sulfur-free petrol as fuel. Describe why sulfur should be removed from petrol. Sulfur is one of the common impurities in the petrol. It should be treated and removed from the petrol before use. Why? Because when you have sulfur in the petrol, this sulfur as impurity and because of the heat is gonna react with oxygen, giving me sulfur dioxide. The problem with the sulfur dioxide, it will cause acid rain. Okay, it's a pollutant gas that will cause acid rain. That's why it should be removed from the fuel. All right, so that's a 2-mark question, so that's exactly what I'm gonna write over there. Just let me remove this. Okay, so I will write, since sulfur will be burned with oxygen inside the engine, producing sulfur dioxide or sulfur oxide. You can write any sulfur oxides or sulfur dioxide. This is a harmful gas because it causes atom drain, okay? So, which is a harmful gas that causes acid rain. Referring to the acid rain would be 1 mark, and referring to the burning of sulfur with oxygen producing the sulfur oxide would be the 2nd mark. Part C of this question, some fractions from crude oil contain large hydrocarbon molecules. These molecules can be cracked to produce smaller, more useful molecules, and there's a cracking equation over there. I think I came across cracking in the previous 2 organic tutorials, so I believe that won't be hard questions for you guys if you're following me. Decane will be cracked to propane, ethene, and pentene. As you know, guys, cracking will give you usually an alkane and alkene. It could be 2 alkene and 1 alkane. It could be 2 alkanes and 1 alkene, according to the equation that they will give you. Why is propane useful? Because it's a polymer, because it's an alloy, or because it is a fuel. I'm talking about this propane. Propane is not a polymer. It's not an alloy. It is a good fuel. So I would choose that one. Draw bonds to complete the displayed structure of ethene. Since I have the suffix "ene", that means this group belongs to the homologous series alkene. Okay, alkene, ethene. All the alkenes have double bond. So what's missing here is the double bond. And just to double check how many bonds around the carbon, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and the other one I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So my displayed formula is correct. Okay, now let's move to the other question. What's the color change when bromine reacts with ethene? This question, we came across it many times in the organic tutorials before. Bromine is the test for, bromine water is the test for unsaturation. Okay, it's the test for unsaturation. In another word, it's a test for the presence of double bond, because this bromine, it's added to the double bond, it breaks this double bond, and then that's what I will get. The bromine will be added to each bond. Okay, having said that, this bromine will disappear. This bromine, the color of this bromine is orange or orange red, right? And since this will disappear, let me bring the page back. Since this will disappear, why will it disappear? Because it's being added to the ethene after this double bond is being broken. So this guy, this liquid is not there anymore. This liquid was orange. Since it's not there anymore, I would choose it will the color change will go from orange to colorless. Okay, so I would choose the first one, and this is the test for unsaturation or for the presence of any double bond. If you add bromine water, it will change color from orange red or from orange to colorless. Complete the sentence. Pentene is useful because many pentene molecules can join together to form. Okay, pentene is useful. Pentene is an alkene. How would I know? For the suffix "ene", that means this is an alkene. All alkene has a very important feature that all of them can form polymers. Since alkene have double bond, they can form our polymers by undergoing addition polymerization. The details for that is will be or should be explained in my other two previous videos, so please go to organic tutorial number 1 and organic tutorial number 2. I explained in details how the addition polymerization is taking place. Okay, pentene is a useful polymer because many pentene molecules can join together to form polymer. So you can stay here polymer. If you want to be more specific and write the name of the polymer that the pentene will form, you can go ahead and write polypentene. And we mentioned before that to name the polymer, it always takes the name of the monomer. The monomer here is the pentene, so it will form the polypentene. Okay. This will conclude my tutorial for today. See you guys next tutorial. I'll be more focused on the organic experiments with all the aspects around the experiments questions. Thank you so much for listening. Please like my video, subscribe to my channel to receive more videos, and see you next time. Bye.